Almost 1 in 10 children in this state have a parent in prison.
While I was incarcerated, I was not able to have any contact with my daughter.
We know the kids are more likely to end up there too someday, unless we do things differently. Video of a Coloradan's death while in custody does not show officers being brutal or acting maliciously. It shows them making a mistake that law enforcement trainers have been begging officers to stop making over and over again. The empty car vending machine along I-25 was a monument to a company's collapse. But hold on now, there are cars in there, and the stock price is soaring. What the what?
There were a lot of games that were being played by the different market participants.
Sounds like exactly the kind of funny business we love to look into on Next. Keep an eye out for celebratory flaring from the Stacks the Suncor refinery. The burning gases will mean that the refinery is slowly coming back online after its shutdown. It's welcome news for gas prices, less so welcome news for people who breathe air in that part of the metro area. Suncor says it has alerted state regulators that one of its plants is coming back online as early as next week, and there may be increased flaring from the stacks when that happens. All 3 of the plants on site have been shut down since late December. Suncor says they were damaged by extreme cold. There are also 2 fires at the refinery on December 24th and December 27th. One of those fires bad enough that it sent 2 employees to the hospital. The refinery's closure has spiked regional gas prices, and it's also caused environmental groups working in the neighborhood to literally breathe easier. There are 92,000 kids in Colorado who have a parent who's locked up right now. That's 7% of all the kids in the state. It's a lot of children who we know are at higher risk of ending up in trouble like their parents. Our Anusha Roy shows us the new work that's being done to essentially change their future.
When a parent is sent to prison,
I was 4 years old when my parents were sentenced.
kids can be permanently changed, like Tara Dockstader, who was separated from her parents for 3 years as they struggled with substance use.
I remember as a little girl, always asking myself, why don't my parents love me enough to be here?
After her mother was released, things were still confusing.
And when we moved back in with her, we struggled with seeing her as a parental figure. Growing up, I was in and out of trouble just because I wanted attention, and I was really resentful towards her. I just know that I felt really alone.
Then she found herself on the same path, facing multiple criminal charges.
I was incarcerated due to substance use.
Separated from her own daughter.
While I was incarcerated, I was not able to have any contact with my daughter. Not one caseworker came to see me to update me on how my daughter was doing.
So by the time she met her little girl again on Mother's Day in 2019,
she had no idea who I was, and she was calling her grandma mom.
Tara is now a parents advocate with the State Office of Responded Parents Council. She's working with people like Shauna Geiger with the state on a new idea to erode some of this trauma.
We're trying to reduce the amount of that when the separation is caused due to detention at a jail facility or in the Department of Corrections.
Proposed Senate Bill 23039 requires meaningful family time, whether that's video chatting or parents remotely attending school conferences and doctor's appointments. The program would not be open to parents who could hurt their children or abuse them, but is meant for those who will be released and hope to step back into the role of mom and dad.
Frankly, parental rights are being terminated while a parent is sitting in jail, not even in the room.
At the center of this is doing right by kids. The goal of this bill is to maintain some kind of relationship with parents to reduce recidivism and intergenerational incarceration.
Having to build this relationship and build this trust with my daughter after she's not known me and I haven't been around, it's taken years. I mean, years.
For Next, I'm Anusha Roy.
That bill would also require access to substance use treatment and parenting classes. As always, how to pay for it is going to be the struggle as the bill progresses. The Denver DA's office told us they think this is a smart idea. The Child Protection Ombudsman's office wasn't ready to discuss it. Tonight we're dealing with another situation where the official account of a Coloradan's death while in custody does not line up. So the press release from last month said that an inmate died at the Adams County Jail after deputies responded to an unknown medical emergency. It says emergency medical services responded, later pronounced deceased. Problem is, this is not close to describing what actually happened. We know what happened because investigative reporter Chris Vanderveen just got a hold of video. It reveals what law enforcement experts say is a very preventable mistake.
Hey, Roy Bull, look at me, buddy. Yeah, he's having a psychotic episode. Roy Bull. Hey, buddy.
On the day before Christmas, deputies inside this jail have a decision to make.
Hey, buddy. So where's the port? Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you sit down on a bunk?
Inside cell 34, a naked inmate with schizophrenia screams nonsensically.
We have it closed for you.
Yeah.
The body camera records everything.
Everybody's coming. Possible overdose? Something, I don't know, but he's foaming at the mouth.
He is Arthur Roybal.
Who is Arthur Roybal?
Arthur Roybal is my brother.
A younger brother?
My youngest brother.
Your youngest brother?
Yes.
Adam Hernandez spent years of his childhood protecting Arthur.
Oh man, Arthur was my sticker. We hung around, followed me everywhere we went. He was my sidekick.
As Arthur aged, he changed, started talking to demons, literal to him, figurative to everyone else.
I think he was pretty sick.
Jail and prison cells followed for years, for decades.
He just couldn't get out of jail. There's no help for these people. They turn to drugs, they commit crimes, and it just is a continuous cycle.
Hey, good, stay right there, buddy, stay right there.
Which brings us back to the day Adam's brother's mental illness elicited a multi-deputy response.
Christmas Eve, we're getting ready to open up presents. My grandkids was getting ready to go put some money on his book so he could have a Christmas present. I get a text message from my sister saying, you need to go see what's going on with Arthur.
Yeah. Open 34.
What's going on with Arthur?
Are you okay with the public seeing that video?
I am.
Why?
They need to see what the Adams County Detention Center is doing to their prisoners.
For now, we'll quiet the video and show stills. There's a lot of screaming and grunting. They take him out of his cell, handcuff him, transfer him down some stairs. This to get him to the medical bay. All textbook examples of what to do, says Seth Stoughton.
I think part one is actually commendable.
Stoughton, a one-time cop-turned-law professor, testified during the trial of the officer now convicted of murdering George Floyd. He's an expert on the use of force.
And I think they handle it commendably, up until the point where they put him on the stretcher.
The stretcher, the gurney.
Face down.
Face down, strapped down, and handcuffed. A big mistake, says Stoughton.
Do they need to stop doing this ASAP?
Oh, God, yes. Yes, this never should have happened.
In 1995, the U.S. Department of Justice told law enforcement officers, as soon as the suspect is handcuffed, get him off his stomach. Why? To minimize the risk of sudden in-custody death.
Don't keep someone in the prone position for any prolonged length of time. It can be deadly.
Prone. Despite the warning, we found more than 130 deaths of handcuffed people held face down. Back to the video. Adams County deputies lead a face-down, strapped-down, and handcuffed Roybal down a hallway. They put a spit mask on him. And then one notices something is off. That's 5 minutes into this prone transfer. More minutes pass as they wait for paramedics at the medical bay. 10 minutes, 15, 16. Paramedics finally arrive. Let's go back to the stills. At this point, Arthur is no longer breathing.
Is this textbook what not to do?
It is exactly that.
Gary Rainey is a retired sheriff and teaches jails how to restrain people.
The likelihood is very significant that had they placed him on his back, raised him up, put the straps on to restrain and keep themselves safe, that we would not be having this conversation today and he would be alive.
I am thankful that you showed me the body cam.
Why?
To know that I need to fight for my brother. I couldn't imagine dying like that. It's got to be the scariest way to die. Face down, asking for help, handcuffed the entire time.
Adam Hernandez visits the remains of his brother often. He has yet to receive an explanation as to why his brother died.
What have they told you?
It's under investigation.
An autopsy remains unfinished, and the Adams County Sheriff declined our request for an interview.
I'm angry at the sheriff's department. I'm angry that they didn't help him.
16 minutes prone. One more death.
When I buried him, I said, I'm going to give you a home so you could have a place to stay. I wish that he had a chance to experience what we all experience every day. God's grace, His love, and I'll pray for him.
One more thing. Hernandez was never offered the chance to watch this video before we obtained it. We showed it to him. Adams County continues to tell him very little about how this went down. As for the deputies involved, all we know is that this is an internal investigation that has not yet begun. Why? Because the Sheriff's Department is also waiting on the results of the autopsy. Kyle?
Chris, we've seen a lot of really tough to watch videos of in-custody deaths from around the country in the last few months and years. In this one, though, you don't see officers acting maliciously. You hear people who sound genuinely concerned, but the result at the end of the day is somebody's dead.
And we see that over and over and over again in these prone restraint deaths, is that people don't know that the people below them are starting to have that inability to breathe. You can do everything right, but up until the moment you do something wrong, doesn't matter that what you did right.
Do we know if those Adams County jail deputies had been told, hey, for decades now, this is a bad practice, don't do this at the jail?
It's a great question. We asked the Adams County Sheriff's Department back in middle of January, do you have a policy when it comes to prone restraint? It's now February. We have yet to receive that policy if they have one.
Please keep us updated.
We will.
Thanks, Chris. The dozen-plus candidates running for Denver mayor have some wildly different ideas about how to deal with homelessness, crime, cost of housing. So we have set aside a full 2 hours of television time next week for you to hear from 13 of them directly. Call it the Baker's Dozen mayoral discussion, the great debate at Metropolitan State. Next Thursday, February 16th, candidates for Denver mayor debate live on KTVD and 9 News Plus from 7 to 9 p.m. It's the first televised mayoral debate and the first of 3 debates we will air on 9 News. This debate features the candidates participating in the Denver Fair Elections Fund. It's being held in partnership with that matching fund program, along with MSU Denver and Clado. Hold up now. Are there cars in the vending machine, that long empty building along I-25? Does that mean the company's no longer going belly up? Well, maybe. The challenge of cooking meals for people who can't go out to eat due to the crushing vacuum of space.
So astronauts tend to like a lot more spice because it gives it more flavor.
NASA's like, let's put some kids in Colorado in charge of that. Okay, I straight up love the number of you who spotted cars in that long, empty Carvana vending machine, I-25 in Evans last night, and were like, hey, next, the cars are here. The cars are here. So we reached out to Carvana today. They won't tell us anything if they're getting any closer to opening that property that was built and then just sat empty and sat empty and sat empty. But there's cars in it now. We can tell you that. We see them with our eyes. Carvana stock, the company stock, has more than doubled in recent weeks after it got routed last year. At one point, trading was even halted because the price was swinging too wildly. Stock market analysts are not watching the empty 8-story tower at I-25 in Evans, not watching it like you are and we are. They are, however, watching how many investors are shorting Carvana stock. Essentially, people are betting that the stock is going to go down. What happens with the shorts is that if the price goes up unexpectedly, those investors often have to buy up stock to cover their bets, and that can lead to the sudden spike in the stock price. We touched base with Matt Klaus, finance professor at DU, who said that these spikes because of shorts don't necessarily translate into any long-term stability for a company.
As an investor, you'd want to look and see whether this business model that Carvana has really does make sense, and if it's a kind of business model that can survive in the economy that we have now with interest rates that are rising and with the high inflation and consumers worried about how they're going to spend their dollars at the grocery store.
The issue with Carvana's model is that they went and bought a pantload of cars when car prices were at their peak, and now they're having trouble and they're still stuck with said pantload of cars. The DU professor, Matt Klaus, also pointed out that even with this year's gains in the stock, Carvana is still trading well below its peak. Is it $12 today? August of 2021 is at $370 a share.
Well, from the words of Kyle Clark, I'm going to start using Pantload as a unit of measurement. So as we talk about snow, when I say a pant load of snow, you'll know what I mean. 22 degrees outside right now. It's clearing. Those winds are calming down. It was windy and cold this afternoon. Now they're coming in from the east at around 3 miles per hour, so it actually feels like 22 degrees out there. But most of the temperatures across the Front Range and Eastern Plains are mostly in the 20s and 30s. Some areas a little cooler in the teens, like Lyman at 18 degrees. In the high country, we're seeing those single digits to 20s and then low 30s out west. But let's take a look at that wind chill. Winds are calming down, but still making it feel colder than what the thermometer is reading, specifically along the Eastern Plains, where we're seeing those winds still gust between 20 to 30 miles per hour right now. So across the eastern half of the state, what it actually feels like for most of us, it feels like it's in the single digits to teens. But we are clearing as we take a look at our HD Doppler radar. Some lingering snow showers further south will continue to push on out of the state, so we'll become partly cloudy and even clear as we go into the overnight hours. Those winds will calm. We'll see overnight lows dropping to near 14 degrees, so pretty chilly tonight, but we start to rebound tomorrow with those temperatures back in the 50s. We stay pretty mild all the way until Tuesday night going into Wednesday. That's when we're expecting our next pant load of snow.
For being honest, school cafeteria food is not always the greatest, but this food isn't for students.
We are making food for astronauts in space.
Young Coloradans whipping up meals for NASA. Next. So back in grade school, they let us eat astronaut food. It was like these dehydrated bricks that kind of melted in your mouth. It was nasty, right? It was nasty. Apparently, astronaut food has improved since then, and there are local high schoolers working with NASA, part of a national competition, to make space snacks even better.
I put like a scoop and a half.
It is a cool way to introduce the future of space travel to students who may not have been exposed to it before.
Do you want to do the drizzle?
Today is our preliminary challenge for our NASA Hunch culinary competition.
Yeah.
We are making food for astronauts in space.
This is our Mexican street corn soup.
This is chicken paprikash.
It's not in astronaut form right now. It's not going to go to space like this, but it can be put in freeze dried.
You want to do the dash on top? It's a challenge for young people, something to get us excited about space and about NASA.
Learned a lot about how gravity affects the taste buds and affects the liquids in the body. We've also learned a lot about how the ingredients affect the soup.
Astronauts can't have very much sodium in space because our bones on Earth, because of gravity, constantly break down and build themselves back up. But because there is no gravity in space, or microgravity, it doesn't happen like that.
Go left to right. Serve them on their left side. I hope that it tastes good to the judges.
I hope they see that we put a lot of hard work into it.
Hi, my name is Joe. I'll be talking about garlic. Astronauts have lots of potassium and calcium lost in space. Scurvy is the severe depletion of vitamin C. Garlic helps with the lack of vitamin C, potassium, and calcium to keep astronauts healthy and nutrition-packed.
We hope you all enjoy. Thank you all for your time today. We want to make this an experience, and I hope that they get an experience out of today.
We'll let you know if they make the finals in Houston. Pantload your feedback next. David writes, sure hope we get a pantload of good ideas from the mayoral candidates next week. Sasha asks, will there be a live audience? Yes. Where do we get tickets? Sorry, you can't. They're being given out by MSU Denver, our partner Claro, and the campaigns. Although I've always wanted to do some live events with the next audience at various things around town. I've said to the bosses, now I'm just kind of passive-aggressively throwing it out on air. See you next time.